you lose to the Texans or you're down to the Texans, you lost the locker room, the coaching staff. It's not a good situation. I think he'll be one and done in Jacksonville.
Breaking news, big man bets, week 15, and we are officially calling it. The Hall of Famer, greatest show on turf, left tackle, Orlando Pace, with yet another 1-2 week as Nick Mangold, 7-time Pro Bowler, New York Jet for life, on that Hall of Fame ballot. Let's get him in. A 3-0 performance, and now Nick on the year at 24-16. Orlando is 18-22, and gentlemen, I'm making the call. Nick is going to be the champion this year, Week 15. Orlando, you can speak first about losing to your fellow big man bet partner and now a dominator of you in the betting world in 2021.
Wow, yeah. Obviously, it was a tough year. I can give you all the cliches, but 1-2 just not going to cut it for the next, for the last 3 or 4 weeks. But Nick, congratulations. Obviously, I'm not sure what we were betting, if anything. I'll send you a nice bottle of wine or something maybe. But, congratulations to you. This year's been a strange year all the way around, but 1-2 just can't get it done. But we'll continue to fight on, man, and see if we can make make it a little closer, close the gap a little bit. So.
Yeah, I first off, thank you. It was a lot of hard work, put a lot of time in, a lot of studying. Obviously, making great picks out of nowhere is very difficult. But I was, and hopefully my father-in-law doesn't pay attention. I don't think he knows how to do podcasts, but we are getting him in some etched martini glasses. And so we're at the store, and I saw that they also have some trophies and different things. So I think I might get my own trophy made up, and I'll have that to present myself because we're doing this all virtual. But in the end, I think we're just here to give out winners, and that's what we're doing, and we're having fun doing it. I'm actually surprised. I thought with the way that I do bet that I would definitely be like 0-40. So the fact that I'm on the positive side is a surprise to not only you guys, but myself as well.
You're a humble man, Nick. You're a really humble man there, I'm telling you.
and there is hope that someday this group gets together in person and there will be an actual trophy presentation. And Nick, hey, 8 over. You're making the public some money here. And Orlando, you didn't completely kill him. So I think overall it's a win for the show. So we can all share in that. Not a win, gentlemen, as we get into it today with your former Ohio State coach, now 2-win disaster in Jacksonville, Urban Meyer. I'm going to read you a quote from Lou Holtz. It says, "God did not put Lou Holtz on this earth to coach in the pros." That's from Lou Holtz himself. I don't know exactly what's happened with Urban here, but I guess, Orlando, let's start with you here. Are you surprised that his tenure in Jacksonville in his first year has turned out as absolutely atrocious as it's been?
I must admit I'm not surprised. I don't know Urban that well, but I know from people around him that know him well. It's a control thing. In college, you can control kids a little bit more in terms of telling them what to do, how to do it. You can hold them accountable in a different way. When you get to the National Football League, you can't do that. Guys are making millions of dollars. Guys are professionals. They have kids to feed at home. Coaches are the same way. You can't berate your coaches. You can't, and then with all that being said, you can't be at a bar during your bye week, hanging out, doing those things. That's just a recipe for disaster. I think the college landscape gives him a pass when you're in a college town like Columbus. You can do all those things and still have control because they love you so much in those settings. But when you're in a professional, all that matters is wins. You have to win ball games, and you have to win convincingly, and you have to get your players to buy in. And if you lose all those things, you won't have success in the National Football League.
Yeah, I don't know Urban at all. I don't think I've actually ever even shook his hand. So I can't say one way or the other. But from an outsider looking in, it was kind of when you look at a decorated college coach coming in to the NFL and having to deal with those things that Orlando was talking about, dealing with, grown men who have families, who have, people dependent on them, and not just some, 19-year-old who just left his family's house and is now, living in college for the first time by himself. There's whole different priorities. And I think he's very fortunate that he's stuck down in Jacksonville during this time, because if he was in New York or LA or, one of the other big markets that really have the true media scrutiny, it would have been over, probably 2 months ago. So he kind of got fortunate that way. But in the end, when you saw everything that was going on, the way that he came in Jacksonville, the way that he was kind of deemed the savior coach, he's got the first round quarterback, first pick overall. And, this is all roses and everything. And then he does different, like, not publicity, but just kind of stunts, having Tebow come in and try to be a tight end. Like, there was no point to that. And that was a wasted roster spot during training camp. That, it was like, why are we doing this? And because he can show that, when he was at Florida with Tim, like, they have this great relationship and they're going to show this great bond. It doesn't move the needle, I don't think, in an NFL locker room. And so going along, and then, you have the debacle with staying back in Ohio after the Thursday night game. Reports now coming out, and even to the point that I've heard that, it's worse than what's actually coming out. And, and everyone's like, oh, what, listen, this happens on all 32 teams. You're going to hear about assistant coaches getting berated. And, there's arguments all the time, but those things aren't getting leaked. And so the fact that these are getting leaked shows that there's some sort of dysfunction, a strong dysfunction in that organization. So I think we all kind of saw it coming. It's very difficult to go from college to the NFL. And so it's one of those things that's not really a surprise. You did want to see it happen because you're like, hey, listen, maybe there's somebody who can go from college, great college coach that has won national championships, can come to the NFL and translate. But it does not look like, as of now, that's going to be Urban's story.
And Jimmy Johnson was, dude was 1-15 his first year and won Super Bowls, and Bill Walsh was 2-14. Just doesn't seem like that for Urban. Orlando, jump back in here, but I just want to know, like, one of the reports out there is that the Jaguar players were telling the Rams players how bad it is in Jacksonville. Like, did you ever have that experience, either of you guys, Orlando, where other guys are like, it sucks over here, don't ever come down here? I mean, did that go on?
You know what, to be honest, and it was on the flip side. Guys used to say Dick Vermeil used to have 3.5-hour padded practices. And guys used to, I used to call my buddies and they're like, hey, I'm home. And I'm like, dude, it's 8:00. I'm just now getting home. So guys used to be like, dude, it is rough here in St. Louis, 3.5-hour practices. So it was one of those situations. The unfortunate part about Urban, though, is, obviously the players are a little skeptical right now, but when you don't have coaches buying in, and if they start leaking things and Urban comes out, he doesn't help himself by saying, if I find out who leaks it, they're getting fired. Like, that's not a good PR. Like his PR, his pressers sometimes make me cringe. That goes ways back to Ohio State days when they were going through that scandal a little bit. So I think he just needs to handle the PR a little bit better, keep everything in house. Don't come out and make these comments because it just makes things worse in that locker room. But I'm sure guys, Nick, as you know, they talk around the league and guys will tell, what is the culture like there in Jacksonville? Either I hate it here. They'll tell other coaches, hey, come get me in free agency or make a trade or whatever it might be. They'll have all their agents on the phone trying to get out of Jacksonville if possible.
Yeah, we had that when my early on in my career with the Jets. It was Mangini, and he was trying to take the strong Belichick hard line approach, and we were having the full on practices and really beating each other up, and it was kind of one of those things where it wasn't people talking bad about their team. It was more like, hey, listen, it is tough over here. Like, it is not pretty. I mean, we ended up, it was my second year, maybe. I can't remember exactly who it was. I thought we traded for a running back from San Fran. And I think he had heard like how difficult it was. And so like he ghosted for 2 days. just didn't show up, and they finally got him to come into the building after getting traded. And it was like one of those things. We always joked, like, because training camp was so hard, and the way that we were getting into the season, we always, as long as we could keep it close for the first half of the game, by the time we got to the second half, the other team would be just as tired as we were. And we were so used to being that tired that we could then beat them. So as long as we keep it close in the first half, we've had a chance going in the second half. And so that was kind of one of those things. It was, you hear I remember, and I was young too. It was rookie, second year guy, and talking to guys that, I was in college with and everything. They're like, oh yeah, we didn't have, we weren't hitting all this week. It was all shells, practices and everything. It was like, wait, we were in full pads on Friday. Like, what do you mean you were in shells all week? So it was that does, it spreads. Guys talk, like there's no way around it. Players talk, they talk to their agents. And so everyone knows if there's a bad situation, everyone knows about it.
Absolutely.
So they're playing the Texans this week. And I would say it's fair that he's embarrassed himself and embarrassed the franchise. It's just my own thought here. If they are trailing to the Texans after the first quarter, or say they're down 14-3 at half, Shad Khan, mid-game, send your dude down there and just and just take him out of the stadium. What do you think, Orlando? Let's do it like just absolute, like, I don't know, old school style. You're out of here mid-game. See you later, Urban.
Yeah, that would be horrible to do. But I think if they lose to the Texans, they know that the writing's on the wall. Whether he does it this week or into the season, he's coming out saying all the right things, but he's not necessarily supporting what his head coach is doing. But he's coming out, not firing them yet. But you lose to the Texans, or you're down to the Texans, you lost the locker room, the coaching staff. It's not a good situation. I think he'll be one and done in Jacksonville.
Yeah. See, I don't think I this is tough for me, because I don't think anything that happens in this Texans game is going to decide the fate of Urban. I think the locker room's already lost. I assume the coaching staff is pretty much lost as well. So when you say if they go down against the Texans, they might lose the locker room. I think that locker room's done. And so it's going to be interesting. Khan had come out and said something about, he was talking about his auto business and the amount of failures that he had on his way to building the company that he has, and how he made all his money. And he goes, no one ever saw those failures because it's the auto parts business and no one really cares. It's like, this is, much more in front. There's, articles, there's newspapers, like everything's talked about. And that was kind of telling to me when talking about failure. It seems like he's already made his mind that this is a failure. When you're talking about your other failures in business that no one else saw, it kind of, that got to me. It was like, oh wait, maybe he's projecting a little bit. So I don't think it's going to matter. I would be surprised, like if Jacksonville wins out and they win the rest of their games, maybe they save his job, like save Urban's job, but I don't see it happening, because I don't think those players really care that much with everything that I've heard coming out of Jacksonville.
Well, Nick, to your point a little bit about failures, though, I know we've all had them, and you're always trying to correct them at some point, right? And it's one thing if you got a guy that comes to work early, leaves late, he's grinding, trying to figure it out. His players buy into what he's saying or doing. But this is a complete dumpster fire at this point, right? Like nobody's buying into. So you see the writing on the wall as an owner. I don't think you can get quality coaches there next year, even if you have them. You try to find some different coaches to fix this thing. Players aren't going to want to come there, so he has to understand that in the big picture. Like, you won't find good players and coaches to come to your staff if they hear the stories that's coming out now.
Yeah, and I think you look at the comparison between Jacksonville with Urban and the Lions with Dan Campbell. Like, I feel like the Lions have bought into what Dan's selling. Like, they've been losing and it stinks. But when they got that one win, they were excited and they were together and they had it was a great celebration. I think that is so much different than what's going on in Jacksonville. And I think that shows the different buy-in. When you see these two different teams, pretty much the same thing. Jacksonville has that, first round, first pick quarterback, but Denver or Detroit doesn't. But they still have the makeup of, rebuilding team that is trying to find their footing. It seems like the Lions have a much more bought-in locker room than Jacksonville does.
Yeah, I think Urban, it's just so many distractions there. Week in and week out, whether he's going to college, USC or whatever the rumors are, there's always something in Jacksonville other than they won a game, right? So whenever you have those distractions outside and you're not winning games, that's just a recipe for, not a good outcome.
All right, let's move on here. But I haven't heard you guys go this deep on a dude, and I do wonder, like, where's the invitation? Nick Mangold's never met Urban in person. Does it sound like you have either Orlando? Come on.
I've met him a couple times.
Okay.
So.
I'm just wondering is he inviting guys back when he's there, or is he just like not good to the alumni, which we can't be having? Come on. But all right, let's do some power rankings here as Week 15. I want it. Look, you got 26 of 32 teams there within one game or in the playoffs, and you also have with 4 weeks to go, 3-way tie for the best record in both the AFC and the NFC. From our friends over at ESPN, that's the first time this has happened through Week 14 since the conferences were formed in 1970. I mean, we've got some incredible parity. So the pressure's on. Nick, you go first here. Your top 5 teams in the NFL right now. Go either however you want to rank them, 1 on down or 5 to 1, your choice. But top 5 in the NFL right now.
Top 5 in the NFL right now. To me, it's. Do I have to go in order, or can it be just the top 5? Because, all right. So I'll go in order because I'm feeling frisky. I'll go Green Bay's number 1. I put them at the top. I'm going to follow them with the Buccaneers, and then Kansas City, and then from there, this one's tough. I obviously hate it personally, but I'm not. The rookie quarterback still scares me, but I'm going to put the Patriots because of that defense and the way that they're running the ball. And then I've got the Rams. And then the sneaky one that I'm going to put in there because I feel like the Cardinals are now on their shaky side. I'm going to sneak because I think they're coming back up. I'm going to sneak the Cowboys in.
I think you just did 6. You've got. Let's recap. We got Green Bay, Tampa, the Chiefs. You put New England, and then that's 4. Who's your 5? Is it the Rams, the Cardinals, or the Cowboys? You gotta knock somebody out.
Okay. So I'll take the Rams. Cowboys are getting. I'll take the Rams.
Okay, so the Rams are in your 5, and the Cardinals and Cowboys get bonged out. All right, the Nick Mangold top 5. Orlando.
NFC heavy.
Are you differing from your partner?
A little bit. I have Green Bay, Tampa Bay. I have the Rams in there.
At 3?
And then at 3, yeah. I'm excited. I'm excited. Hey, you might catch me. I'm excited about this win off of AZ versus the Cardinals last week. And then I have the Cowboy of New England, and then the Cowboys.
Wow. What do you love about Dallas to put them there?
You know what? I think they're getting guys healthy. Their defensive line is coming along. They played really well last week. I think, when you got 3 or 4 guys on that defensive line and Parsons is playing like an absolute beast in there. I think when you have a strong defense, they get Zeke going in that running game. Dak's not playing his best football right now, but I think if they can run the ball and play good defense, I think they have a chance to win down the stretch. And then the NFC East is so weak, they'll run away with that, and hopefully they may get a bye in that regard. But I got New England down there at the end just because of their rookie quarterback. I think their coaching staff, the way they develop those guys are great. But, when the playoffs start, it's going to be a different game, a different type of pressure on that quarterback.
All right, so let's look ahead to the playoffs, and we're looking at the Super Bowl future market, winbet.com. for all your gambling needs here. So right now, up top, it's the Bucks are plus 475, and the Chiefs plus 550, Green Bay plus 625, New England plus 675, the Cardinals plus 900, the Rams plus 1,100. Then we'll put the Cowboys in there plus 1,200. Who do you think, Orlando, is the most overvalued? The public's betting on them, but they will not be there in the end of the top teams.
I think Arizona, because you got Arizona in there. What was Arizona's plus 900 or
900, the fifth best team?
Yeah. I think they're overvalued. I think obviously what Kyler Murray's done has been phenomenal this year, but I don't know defensively if they have enough that can make a run. And Connor, he's playing great at that running back position. I just don't know if they don't have the experience that some other teams in that NFC have when you have Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady. And those type of teams that's been there and done that before. So the best thing for them is to get home field advantage. I don't see Arizona going to Green Bay and possibly winning in Green Bay in the cold in January. So just my take on it. I think they're the most overvalued team on that list.
Yeah. I look at when I see the list and I'm intrigued. And it's my own biases, but I think they are a good team, and I think they will make a run for it. But with the rookie quarterback, I think at plus 675 for New England, it just seems I don't see them winning the Super Bowl. So when you have them that high, knowing they have a rookie quarterback, at some point they were able to play that Buffalo game and have him only throw 3 times. And still got the win, which is fantastic. I mean, that's great coaching. You go to what you can do and you get the win no matter what it takes. But at some point, there's going to come a time where he needs to win the game. And you won't be able to hide him, and especially in the playoffs when everything's going. I don't know. I know he's been in big games in college and everything, and that's all well and good. But the NFL playoffs are completely different. And there's something extra special about them, and there's something about the tournament style, and so I don't put the faith in a rookie quarterback. So to have them at plus 675, it seems like a low number for a team that's probably not going to win the Super Bowl.
Love it. Finally, somebody go with the Patriots. Feels good. Let's do the undervalued. Who could actually make a run here? Who's not getting the top of the market love? We'll start with the Broncos plus 15,000, the Vikings plus 10,000, and then we'll edge in. The Bengals are at plus 5,000, the Niners plus 3,500, and then your 3,000s are the Ravens, Colts, and Browns. Orlando, who do you think could actually make a run here of those teams and could get hot?
You know what? That's an easy question for me. The Indianapolis Colts, man, are a very undervalued team. I think when they have a running game, their offensive line is phenomenal. They play good defense. Jonathan Taylor at running back should be an MVP candidate. And Carson Wentz, he's a guy, if you can keep him healthy, they have a shot. So when you look at, nobody's really talking about the Colts and what they're doing. They make it into the playoffs with that strong run game. Obviously they have a chance to get to the Super Bowl.
I know this will make Orlando happy, but the one I'm intrigued by is Cleveland plus 3,000. They have had their injuries, but they still have a pretty solid defense. And if they get healthy, they could make a run at it. I think, and that's a big if. So it's all about the injuries. If they get healthy, they have a solid offensive line. They have a great run game. They have great defense. Baker could be enough to get him on a run. So I would probably say Cleveland has, I think, a good value to it if they get healthy.
You know what? I think it always comes down to health. But this year, just watching the sports channels over the past couple of days, it seems like 7 or 8 teams are in protocol. So you just never know, dude. I wonder if the NFL has to go in the bubble. I know if I was an owner, hey, for the playoffs, we make a playoffs, we got to go in the bubble, stay in the hotel just to keep everybody safe. Because if you lose a key player, to COVID during the playoffs, that could ruin your chances in itself.
It's the Wild West out there right now. There's no doubt about it. Hey, let's look at the divisions real quick. New England's 9-4, second place Buffalo 7-6. I'm going to take the Ravens and the Browns division out of it. The Titans are 9-4. The Colts are 7-6. The Chiefs are 9-4. The Chargers are 8-5. And then you've got in the NFC one interesting race with the Cardinals 10-3, the Rams 9-4. Who of those second place teams? Rams are in there, and then you've got the Chargers, and then you've got the Bills, and you've got the Colts. Who could actually come out on top in the division if you were betting on somebody falling at the top and a second place team coming up? Nick, anybody jump out at you?
Yeah, I actually, it's funny. I was doing this yesterday before we even started thinking about the show for today. I looked at the futures for the divisions and seeing what kind of value was in there. And so I sprinkled a little bit. And I took the Rams at plus 450, Bengals plus 300, and Chargers at plus 225, all to win the division. It was just, it's a little taste. They're all right there. I mean, the Rams being the biggest one. I at plus 450, with the way that they just dismantled the Cardinals, and if they can go on a run, if they've settled down from the hype of the super team, and you get Matthew Stafford running, throwing the way that he was, Aaron Donald obviously has played a massive game against the Cardinals. I think that's a fantastic value to win the division at plus 450 when they're right there. It seems fairly easy on that one. Obviously, Vegas knows something that I don't, but I figure a little sprinkle here in middle of December isn't a bad idea.
Yeah, I think for me, I'm gonna stick with my last theme with the Indianapolis Colts. I just think unless Derrick Henry comes back, I think they could catch the Tennessee Titans. Tennessee has had some injuries in the past, and I'm not sure if they face each other again towards the end of the season or not. But if they do, if they win those games, I think they have an opportunity to win that division.
The Colts have the Pats. They're at Arizona.
Maybe hold on. I didn't look at their schedule.
well, you got the Raiders at home and then at Jacksonville to end it to soften that.
Okay,
gotcha. But they gotta get New England. But the Titans have a tough road here too, and they got Pittsburgh this week, so it's on the table. I like Tennessee to beat Pittsburgh, but the Steelers are favored in the game. So we got that going on. All right. Better playoff run. We'll do this on a rapid fire here. New England or Buffalo? Better playoff run, Orlando.
New England. I think they just they have a little confidence. They own that division, so I think they'll make a better run than Buffalo.
I don't like rookie quarterbacks, but I also don't like the Mr. or Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde of Buffalo. So I'm going to stay with the steady Eddie of New England and that defense and the run game.
AFC North, Baltimore or Cleveland? Nick, you're up first.
I will take. Baltimore. They have no weapons other than Lamar. I'm gonna go on a limb and say Cleveland.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Cleveland too. I think Baltimore has too many injuries to overcome, and now Lamar's banged up a little bit. So I think Cleveland will make a better playoff run.
To the south, Orlando. We know you're going with the Colts, but Nick, Titans or Colts?
I'll go Colts too. I feel if they could get healthy, if they get AJ Brown back and Derrick Henry back, Titans all the way. They're scrappy defense. But again, that if of the injury, and I feel like we're saying that for every team right now, other than, a handful of them. We're like, well, if they get healthy, they're going to be good.
In Orlando, if Derrick Henry pops back up, you still sticking with the Colts?
Well, that'll be tough. I think if he can run, Tennessee will be tough. It's all contingent on if Derrick Henry comes back, because nobody wants to see that guy. And a fresh Derrick Henry too, fresh legs in the playoff could be dangerous for opposing teams.
AFC West, Chiefs, Chargers. Anybody want to take the Chargers?
Nah, Chiefs playing too strong right now. Their defense is stepping up. And obviously Patrick Mahomes isn't playing great football, but he's doing enough to win win. So I think they're hitting their stride right now.
The excitement of me wants to see the Chargers do well just because I like Herbert and I like what they're doing out there. But the Chiefs, I think, are hitting their stride at the perfect time.
Thursday night going to be a good one. And then lastly, let's go NFC, and let's take the Rams and Arizona, which I think everybody's focused in on here. Nick, let's let Orlando sit in the background here with his Rams. You got the Cardinals or LA going deeper?
I'm taking LA. I think the experience of the Rams. I think they had that dip. After the super team was formed, but I think they're coming back up and they'll go to the top.
Orlando, you're sticking with your Rams?
You know that all day, man. I'm still riding high after this big win in Arizona. So I think Sean McVay went back to the drawing board. The way he called the game the other night was great. If you can get back to that, they can play action, get Odell, get Cooper Kupp out there, make some plays. They have a chance.
All right, before we make our picks, the Chiefs and Chargers, which we just mentioned, are playing Thursday Night Football. Brandon Staley had his Chargers getting in the cold tub right after their Sunday game. They just jumped right into the recovery. And Nick has brought up offline basically every week here about how much he loved Spa Day, and he would wear his road. You want green for the road games and white for home? Is that right?
No, home was green, white was away.
Okay, home green, white away. Manicure, pedicure, massage, steam, whirlpool. Everybody was out of the facility. Nick owned it, just had his music going. The dude loves Spa Day, right? Right. That was like so
the Spa Day is the best.
So, okay, you can't do it on Friday, though, now. You've got a Thursday game, and it's a huge game. How hard would you guys say it is for your bodies to recover and play and they're trying to scheme this as best they can, but how hard is it for guys to get ready to play in a huge game on Thursday night, Nick?
It's crazy difficult, and it all depends on a lot of it depends on the age of your players. If you have if it's a younger team, those guys will not care. They'll get the recovery in and they'll be fine by Monday, and ready to roll on Thursday. If you have older veterans who need that time, who need the ability to get their body right. I mean, I remember when I first got in the league, we'd play Sunday at 1 p.m. Monday morning, I was like, all right, I feel good. Let's get going. And I'd see a bunch of the older guys, and they'd be, slowly moving everything, and be like, what's wrong with you? And they go, oh, it'll catch you, don't worry. And I noticed as I went through, the timeline just kept getting longer and longer. And so, by the end of the career, I'm looking at like Thursday morning, Thursday afternoon, I was just starting to get right after a 1 p.m. Sunday game. And so your body starts feeling better and getting moving. So to condense that down and get that recovery in 2 days, I mean, it's a full focus of what you need to do for your body, trying to get yourself right, making sure you're not just laying on the couch, but you're actually doing movements and stretching and keeping your body moving, just to try to flush everything out. So it's a big challenge, and it is, especially for older guys rather than younger guys. And so, that is the challenge of Thursday night games, where, especially with the travel and everything, I mean, that takes it out of you. You play on Sunday, and, Wednesday you're flying to wherever you need to go. So it's a big challenge, and it's going to be, especially as you get later in the year too. So, as in September, it's not as bad. December, it's much worse.
Yep, I agree with all those stages of your career. If you're, obviously the older you get, the longer recovery time you need. But then it's also about the team you played before. If you play at a physical game before, and you have a Thursday night where you have to travel, that makes it extremely difficult because your body takes that much more energy in terms of recovery. So you may need a couple spa days, maybe a Monday and Tuesday spa day combined, just to try to get your body up and moving and getting back to normal. But those Thursday night games are tough all the way around, man, because you can't prepare. Preparation is not that good, that great. And then, obviously your body's still, a little banged up from the week before. So I didn't like them when I played, but they're money for the league, man. So the owners are the only people that's really happy in that situation.
Did you do spa day in your own Orlando version, like your friend Nick here?
Oh, absolutely. I used to get a couple massages during the week. You know what I mean? Hot, cold tub, all those things, steam, sauna, like all those things that, to just try to get your body feeling good, and then, you go out and beat it up again on Sunday. So towards the end of my career, I used to get a couple massages, 2-hour massages a week, just to try to get my body back to normal.
2 hours?
Yeah, 2 hours. Yeah. My masseuse said I maybe she was hustling me. She was like, "Hey, Orlando, you're too big to just get 60 minutes. We need to get you 2-hour massages." You know what I mean? But I'm asleep, so that's it. So,
did the team pay for it? Or did you guys have to take care of that yourself? How does that work?
the team did one. The team did one during the week on our off day, and then I had masseuse come to the house too. So just because I needed. Those are things, the luxuries of my life I needed at that point, man, just to get out in the field. So
that's awesome, right, Nick?
Yeah, at that point, it wasn't a luxury anymore. It was a necessity.
It was necessity. You're right.
Investment. All right, let's make some picks here, y'all. As we mentioned at the start of the show, Orlando was 1-2. He did, Orlando, you got the Cowboys over the Washington football team, even though Dallas certainly made that interesting late. And then Nick, you rolled. You had the Chargers over the Giants. You snuck through with Baltimore, who covered against Cleveland, and
wow.
you hit your under on the Jets and the Saints. So again, 24-16, Orlando 18-22. But we're just moving forward. Don't worry about that right now. Nick, pick of the week, winbet.com for all your gambling needs.
Pick of the week. This week I'm going with, and I don't understand this line. It doesn't make any sense to me with the way that things have been going. So I'm rolling with it. I'm taking New England plus 2.5 versus Indy. I know it's at Indy, but I don't think that really matters. I think New England will keep rolling, and so the fact that they're underdogs is kind of shocking to me.
Yeah. For me, I'm. Jim Irsay and the coach should send me a jersey after this show for as much as I pubbed them. I'm going with the New England Indianapolis Colts over the New England Patriots. They're getting 2.5. So I am on the Colts hard this week. I think obviously I may get a win against Nick on this game. So we'll see.
Let's go. I like head to head. We're next leveling it right now.
Mm-hmm.
Orlando, give me your upset.
I think the Saints plus 11 versus Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay came off a tough game last week against Buffalo. If you Saints play a good brand of defense, I think it'll be closer than that 11. So I'm going with the Saints.
It was a tough game. I like this is a good one. I like Houston plus 3.5 versus Jacksonville. Jacksonville is a dumpster fire, and so I feel like Houston, they just kind of have to go out there and not turn the ball over, and they should win the game. So Houston plus 3.5 versus Jacksonville.
I almost took that one, Nick. That's what I did. Because Jacksonville's such a dumpster fire, man. Anybody can go there and beat them right now.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to play for your own job security, but if you polled the Jaguar players, they'd be like, hey, let's embarrass the living daylights out of them and lose to the Texans. I bet you'd have a lot of votes in that locker room. All right, over-unders. Let's Nick, you're up. Go ahead.
All right, so the one this is my pick. I just saw something scroll across that there might be COVID involved with this game. So it's with an asterisk. But Raiders, Browns, I'm taking the over 40. I think these two teams can score. And so I'm going with it. I'm a little concerned because I didn't get to dive into what the COVID extravaganza is with that game. But I'll keep my fingers crossed. 40 is a pretty low number for these two teams. So I'm sticking with it.
Real-time show. I'm going to give you a chance you can stick with it or not stick it, but Baker Mayfield is positive for COVID.
Of course, had to be Baker. I'm going to stick with it. Just, I made my pick. I live and die by my picks, and so I'm going to stick with it. Hopefully, it's one of the quick COVID cases. He'll be back out there on Sunday.
Although Case Keenum in the bad, backup.
Yeah, not a bad fallback.
Not a bad fall back.
Right.
For me, I'm going with the Chicago Bears versus the Minnesota Vikings. I'm going over 44 points. I thought Justin Fields played well the other night against Green Bay. Kirk Cousins, I think they'll put some numbers up in this game.
That we can handle offline because I'm interested in that take. I feel like the motion is a little bit long on my guy. Justin Fields. He's got he's got to get that ball up there and get it out. I don't know. Maybe is that?
He'll learn that after he get a few more sacks. He'll learn that another offseason under his belt. He'll get rid of that ball a lot quicker.
Okay. All right. He's there's got to be a little tweak. That's all that's all they need in Chicago outside of some other major tweaks. Gentlemen, great stuff. Week 15. This is as wild of an NFL season as we've had. So enjoy Thursday night. And Orlando, I'm going to be watching your Colts the rest of the way. When I see the horseshoe, I'm going to be thinking of you with all that Colt love today.
Absolutely. But all the Colt love.
Yeah. Thanks for watching Big Man Bets. WinBet.com for all your gambling needs. WYNNBET.com, and check out BetSided. Fansided.com/BetSided as well. Gentlemen, we'll see you next week.
I see you.
Thank you, guys.